The sky was quiet over the Nevada desert. Stars were shining, but one of them was moving. Not falling, moving fast, and changing direction like it was a Livit. The remote military base nearby. Radar picked up something strange. It was not a plane, not a missile, not a drone, and then it disappeared from the screen. Captain Elias stood in the control room. He was in charge tonight. The silence after the radar blip felt heavy. He looked at his team. No one spoke. Then a junior officer pointed to the screen. There was smoke rising beyond the hills. No sound, no explosion, just smoke. And strange light. Elias grabbed his jacket and his gun. He did not wait for orders. He got into the Jeep and drove into the dark. The desert was cold at night. Wind was dry and sharp. The headlights cut through the darkness, and after 20 minutes of driving, he saw something glowing behind the rocks. Slowed down, parked the Jeep, and stepped out. The crash site was quiet. No fire, no heat, but something was humming. A large silver object was half buried in the sand. It was shaped like a teardrop. Its surface was smooth and pulsing with soft blue light. Elias moved closer. His boots crunched on the gravel. His hand stayed on his weapon, but what he saw next made him freeze. A figure was lying near the wreck, not crushed, not burned, still breathing. It was a woman, or something that looked like one. She had glowing skin. Her hair moved like it was underwater. Her eyes opened, and they were silver. She looked at him and spoke in perfect English. "Let me stay here, and I will give you what no human woman can." Elias stepped back. He looked around. There was no one else. No sign of any second craft, no soldiers, no rescue. The woman sat up slowly. Her hands were shaking. Her voice was soft. "Please do not call them. They will take me back. They will erase me." Elias felt a chill run down his spine. "What do you mean? Who are you?" She looked at him again. This time her eyes looked human, but her skin still glowed like moonlighty. "I am not here to harm. I escaped. I broke the law to feel. Now they will come." Elias hesitated. He looked at the wreck. It was not from Earth. He looked at the woman. She was not from Earth either. But she was afraid, and she was asking for help. He had two choices: call command, report the crash, let the lab teams come here, take her away, hide her, find and swerve. Elias made a fast decision. He walked toward her, helped her stand. She was weak, but her touch was warm and strange. Led her to the Jeep, covered her with his coat, and drove back fast, not to the base, to a secret place he knew years ago. An old Cold War bunker was built under the hills. Now it was off the records. Only Elias knew the access code. Parked the Jeep behind the rocks, opened the metal door hidden in the ground, and helped her inside. The bunker was cold and dry. It had power. It had water, and it had silence. He gave her water. She drank slowly. Her glow faded a little. Her voice got softer. "You do not know what I am. You will fear me soon, but I beg you, let me stay just for some time." Elias sat on the other side of the room. His heart was racing. This was not part of any protocol. He was breaking rules. He was hiding an unknown being, but he saw something in her, not threat, not violence, something else, something human. "What is your name?" Namesh looked at him, her eyes now almost normal. "I do not have a human name, but you can call me Viren. Where are you from?" "From here, farther than your machines can see, a place where no one is allowed to feel love or kindness or furry. Are you Hooray, found a signal from your world, a voice, a story, a feeling. I wanted more. I wanted to feel what it means to care. And now I have broken the law." Elias listened. His training told him this was wrong, but his gut told him something else. He had seen many lies, many threats, but this felt real. She was not here to conquer. She was here to escape. Viren closed her eyes. She leaned against the wall. "I do not have long. They will come. They always come. Please let me stay just for a while. Let me feel. Let me live." Elias stood. He looked at the door, at the radio, at the dark outside. Then he looked back at her. She looked almost human now, almost said nothing, but he walked to the control panel and turned off all signals. No radar, no beacon, no trace. If they were coming, they would not find her easily, and if they did, they would have to face him first. The desert night stayed silent, but above the clouds something was already moving. The bunker stayed silent. Viren rested on the floor. Her breathing had slowed. Her glowing skin had faded to a soft pale light. Captain Elias stood near the door. He watched her with alert eyes, but his hands were no longer near his weapon. She looked tired, not dangerous, more like someone running from a nightmare. Elias poured water into a metal cup. He walked over and placed it beside her. She opened her eyes slowly and nodded. "Thank you." Elias spoke. "You said they will come for you. Who are they, and why are you running?" Viren sat up. She looked at the concrete walls around her. Her voice sounded almost human now, but her words felt heavy, like they carried more than just meaning. "Where I come from. We live without feeling, no joy, no sadness, no love. Only purpose, only control. Elias frowned. He tried to imagine such a place. A world without love, without laughter, without pain. Why would anyone want that? Because it makes people easy to rule. If Irene touched her chest right where her heart would be. We are not born empty. We are made that way from childhood. We are trained to forget emotion. The government injects us, monitors our thoughts if we show desire or care. We are corrected. What happens if you resist? You are Aristodelia stepped back. He could feel the truth in her voice. She was not telling a story. She was giving him a warning. So, why did you leave? Because I felt something. She looked at him. Not directly. Her eyes flicked past his face, like she was afraid of being seen too deeply. It began with a sound of voice from Earth, a message sent through space, a human radio story, a tale of love and sacrifice. I did not understand it, but I wanted. Maresh closed her eyes again. I began hiding transmissions, saving every emotion I could find. Your laughter, your songs, even your sadness. I wanted all of it, but they found out. I was marked for deletion. She opened her eyes and looked at Elias. So I ran, and I crashed here. Now I am begging you, do not send me back. Elias sat on the edge of a metal table. He was trained to report all contact. He was trained to follow orders, but his gut said something else. Something deeper. This was not an invasion. This was an escape. Who said they are coming? How soon? Maybe hours, maybe minutes. They do not use time like humans do. They move by energy, and I left a trace. When I landed, can we stop them? Irene looked unsure. I do not know, but I do know this. If they find me, they will not just erase me, they will erase you. Because now you know, and knowing is illegal. He stood and began pacing. His military mind began calculating options. He had weapons, supplies, old tech from the Cold War era, but he was just one man. And she was not human still. He had made his choice already. Walked to a locked box in the wall, opened it and pulled out a device. It looked old, covered in dust, but it still worked. What is that? It is a jammer. It blocks signals if they are tracking you. This might slow them down. Irene tilted her head. You risk much for me. Elias looked at her, really looked at her face, her voice, her story. Something about her felt different, real, pure. Even when it was strange. Beckows, maybe feeling something is worth the risk. Irene smiled. It was a small smile, but the first real. One have never seen anyone smile like that on my world. Not in 1,000 years. Sai lived that long, no. But my people record memories. I have seen lives from centuries before me, and none of them smiled like you. Elias checked the door again. The night outside was still calm, but he felt it. Something was coming. Turned back to her. We need to move deeper. This place has more than just one room. It led her through a side tunnel. Old wires hung from the ceiling. Dust covered the walls, but it was safe. He reached a locked steel chamber. He entered the code and pushed the door open. Inside were old maps, metal beds, storage crates, and something else. A deep hum in the air. What is this place? This was built for hiding. When the world feared nuclear war, now it may help us survive a different kind of war. Irene walked to a broken mirror. She stared at her reflection. Her skin looked more human now. Only her eyes glowed faintly silver, with a hint of sadness. If I stay here long enough, I will become more like you, not just in body, but in feeling. Do you want Thades, even if it kills me? Elias looked at her, and for the first time, he saw not an alien, but someone who just wanted to be free. Spoke quietly. Then you will stay, and we will fight if we must. Irene turned toward him, her voice soft. Then let me show you something I can give that no human woman can. She stepped closer, touched his temple gently. In an instant, Elias saw a vision. Not a dream, not a memory, but something more. A city in space, floating towers, creatures made of light, and machines that could erase love with one command. He gasped, pulled back, his heart racing. What was that? A piece of my world, a part of what I carry. I gave it to you. Now you can see what they do, and why I ran. Elias nodded slowly. Now he understood. She was not just running from fear, she was running toward something. A life, a feeling, a future. Desert night stayed quiet, but far above, beyond clouds and stars, 3 shadows moved toward Earth. They had found the trail, and they were coming. The room was cold, but quiet. The air carried the soft hum of old machines. Elias stood with his back against the steel wall. His chest rose and fell slowly. His eyes stared ahead, but his thoughts were far away. The vision had not faded. It lived behind his eyes like a second world. He could still see the floating city, the towers made of light, the sky that changed color with emotion, and the machines. He could not forget the machines. They did not have faces. They moved without sound, and when they touched someone that person forgot how to love Elias. Had seen one of them place its hand on a woman's head, and just like that, her eyes turned empty. Virene stood nearby, her body still weak, but her presence had changed. She looked more human. She moved like someone finding balance after a storm. What did you see? Elias turned to her slowly. I saw what they did to your people, how they erased love, how they made feeling illegal. Virene nodded. That is why I left. I could not accept it anymore. Ash took a step forward. You asked me before what I can give, something no human woman can. And I showed you a part of my mind, but that is only the begging. And Elias waited. His heart beat a little faster. Virene closed her eyes. When she opened them again, they glowed, not silver, not blue, but soft white like the moon on snow. He can share memory, not just mine, but memory of others, from my world, from my ancestors, from every voice that ever felt love before it was banned. She lifted her hand. Would you like to feel it? Elias hesitated. He had already seen things he could not explain. Would more make it worse, or would it help him understand? Nodded. Virene stepped closer. Her fingers touched his forehead. At first only silence, then warmth and voice. Hundreds of them laughing, crying, calling out. Namesh saw a child holding a glowing stone, saw a woman running through red grass, saw two hands held tight before a bright sky. A moment lasted only seconds, but together they felt eternal. Then it ended. Elias stepped back. His legs almost gave out. He held the wall, breathing hard. What was that? Virene looked at him, her voice soft. That was memory, real memory. Not stories, not dreams. You gave me the lives of your people, not all, only the ones who knew love before it was taken from them. Now it lives in you. Elias sat down on the cold floor, his head still spinning. He looked at her. Why? Because you listened, because you let me stay, because you felt something. Virene walked to the other side of the room. She looked at a dusty monitor. The screen was dark, but something flickered. The jammer was weakening. They are close. How close? They can feel them now. Their minds are cold like metal. They move by thought. They will reach this place soon. Elias stood. He checked the storage locker, pulled out a pulse rifle, old tech, but still working. He will not let them take you. Virene turned to him. If they take me, they erase me. But if they touch you, they erase everything I gave you. They remove memory from your soul. Then we do not let them in. Elias walked to the hallway. His boots echoed on the steel floor. He checked every camera, every motion sensor. The outside world was still dark, but something was moving. He could feel it, not footsteps, not sound, but a pressure in the air. Virene joined him. She spoke without fear. There is one more gift, one more thing I can give before the air of. What is it? Your kind sees emotion as weakness sometimes, but on my world, we learn something. Emotion creates energy, pure energy. If we feel enough, it changes us. Reach toward him. Her hand hovered near his chest. He can awaken it in you, but it comes with risk. What kind of risk? Once you feel it, you can never go back to how you were. You will never be empty. Elias looked into her eyes. He saw no lie, only truth, only hope. Hato at. Virene touched his chest, and everything changed. His heart felt like it cracked open, not in pain and release. He remembered every person he had lost, every face, every name, every voice that once called his name. He remembered his mother's last smile, his sister's laugh, the silence he carried after they were gone. But this time, he did not push it down. He let it recede. In that moment, he felt warmth in the middle of the cold. Virene stepped back. Now you are ready for Watto fight, not with guns, but with what they fear most. Feeling the ground trembled just slightly, but in awe. The Elias walked to the blast door. He held the rifle, but he knew now this was more than weapons. This was about what made them human. Virene stood beside him. Her glow returned, but now it was golden. Elias looked at her. What happens if we win? Then the memory stays. Then love returns, not just for us, but maybe for others too. The door alarm beeped once. Then silence. Elias closed his eyes for 1 second, not in fear, in focus. They were not ready to give up. Not now, not ever. The bunker was still. No wind, no sound, just the faint buzz of energy in the walls. Captain Elias stood near the blast door. His hand rested on the old rifle. His eyes stared at the metal, waiting for it to shake, waiting for something to hit. Virene stood behind him. Her glow was brighter now, more golden than blue. She breathed slowly, her face calm, but her eyes full of warning. They are here. They have landed. Elias did not move. How many? 3. That is all it takes. 1 would have been enough, but 3 means they want to be sure. What are they? They are not like me. They are older. Their bodies were changed long ago. They gave up emotion to become pure hunters. They feel nothing, not fear, not pain, not joy. What do they want from you? They want silence. They want everything I carry erased if I stay alive. Then memory stays alive. Tullius stepped back from the door. He opened a side panel, pressed a button. The lights flickered once, then turned red. That was his signal. He had just locked down the entire bunker. No one was getting in, no one was getting out. What? If they break the door, they will not try. Not at first. They use fear, they use pressure. They will try to turn you against method. Will not work. Virene looked at him, her face serious. Even good men have limits. They will test yours. Outside the bunker, the ground remained quiet. But above the hill, a shape moved through the sky. It did not fly with engines. It floated like smoke. It carried no light, no heat, just silence. Sight stopped above the old concrete roof. It hovered, then released something. Three forms fell gently to the ground. They did not walk, they glided. Their feet never touched the dirt. They had no faces, just smooth gray skin and a black mark where a mouth should be. They stood in front of the hidden entrance and waited inside the bunker. Virene placed her hand on the wall. She closed her eyes. They are scanning us. They want to know how deep we are. They want to know what you feel. Lias checked the camera feed. The screen showed static, then clear. It saw them, three tall beings, motionless like statues. Then something strange happened. One of them moved its hand. It pointed directly at the camera and the screen turned black. They know we are watching. Virene sat on the ground. Her energy was shifting. She was not hiding anymore. She was preparing. What do they fear? Memory, emotion, truth. Can we fight them? Only if you hold on to what they want. Takelias walked to a side room. He opened a locker, took out an old device, round metal, wired with is that a neural pulse shield, made during early psychic weapon tests, never used in war. Too dangerous. Placed it in the center of the room, turned it on. The lights flickered again. The hum grew louder. What does it do if they try to enter? With thought it will push back, but only for a short time. Virene stood. We must do more than defend. We must make them feel. They can if they do not want to, but deep inside, the code of what they were is still there, hidden, buried, sleeping. How do we wake it? Let them see. We let them feel what they gave up. Elias looked at her, then looked at the pulse shield. Then he understood. You want to use minute, use trust. You carry memory now. You carry pain, love, hope. If they see it, if they feel it, even for a second, they will break. The door vibrated once, just a tremble like a knock with no hand. The Archangelias walked to the speaker near the door. He pressed the button. This is Captain Elias. State your purpose. Voice came through. It was not human, not male or female. It echoed without sound, like it was inside his head. You are protecting a danger. Release the unit, or be erasage is not a danger. Motion is infection. Love is weakness. Memory is a threat, and I choose threat. There was silence, then a second tremble, stronger this time. Virene walked to him. They will enter now. Be ready. Elias closed his eyes. He let every memory rise. His mother's voice, his sister's smile, his own pain, his own fear. Opened his eyes. Red-eyed blast. Door turned bright like heat without flame. The metal bent inward. Then they entered. Three tall figures. No sound, no breath, no firth. Pulse shield flared. They paused. Virene stood behind Elias. Her hands glowed. Her voice filled the room. Remember what you weareth. Beings tilted their heads. One stepped forward. Elias felt pressure in his chest, like someone was pushing his heart. Old on. Virene said, let them see. Did not move. He let the memories play. The day he lost his family, the night he wanted to end it all, the moment he found purpose again, the first time he looked at Virene and felt alive. The pressure broke. Any of the beings stumbled. Its black mark flickered. Its body cracked like Iseth. Silenceth other to backed away. Virene stepped forward. She raised her hand. No words, just light. The vanished. Ganithrum was still. Elias fell to his knees, breathing hard. You did it. No, you did. Thee feared your heart. Not. Minna looked up at her. So what happens now? No, we prepare because more will come, but so will others like me. And now you are not alone. The air inside the bunker was heavier now, not from smoke, not from heat, but from memory. It hung around Elias like fog. He sat on the cold floor, his hands still shaking, his mind replaying everything he had shown to the hunters, had let them see. His pain, his past, his heartened. It had broken one of them. Virene stood beside the pulse shield. Her glow was calm now, not bright, not fading. Balanced. You did well. You let them feel what they had buried long ago. Elias looked up at her. One fell to ran. But that will not stop them. No, it will bring. Marie stood slowly. His body was tired, but his spirit was no longer afraid. Then we need to prepare, really prepare. Virene walked to the center of the room. We do not need more weapons. We need a mirror. Mirror not made of glass, made of memory. Liz watched as she placed both hands on the floor. Her fingers glowed. Lines of light spread outward. Circles formed on the ground. Symbols he could not read, but he felt them. What is this? A trap? Not one that Kills one that shows you mean like the vision you gave me stronger, more direct. If they step inside this field, they will relive the things they have erased, the things they fear can. You control it, no, it will be controlled by your mind, your memory. You have seen enough, felt enough to power the Fildelias. Took a step back. What if it hurts others? What if it hurts you? It will not, because I know you and I trust what you carry. Elias looked at the glowing floor. He felt the pulse again, like a heartbeat. Not from a body, from something deeper. His own Sula sat in the center of the circle, closed his eyes, and opened his heart. Let every moment rise again. The laughter, the loss, the longing, the hope. And the bunker changed. Walls grew warm. The lights turned soft, not red, not white, but golden, like memory turned into light. Virian spoke. They will feel confused. They will hear voices, see faces. They will not understand what is happening, but they will feel it. They will be. Aphrodelias opened his eyes. I never thought memory could be a weapon only in a world that fears feeling. Trap was ready, but so were they. Outside the bunker, clouds began to swirl, not from weather, from movement from above. A new craft had arrived, larger than before, not silent. This one roared. It was not here to scan, it was here to talk. 3 new hunters stepped out, their forms more solid, their minds more trained. They did not come to ask, they came to erase. Inside, Virian felt them first. They are stronger, they will not. Runelias stood. Then we make them fall. Walk to the blast door, press the button. Spoken to the old speaker. This is Captain Elias. I know what you fear, and I have it right. Harris Alensithan. A sound like thunder, not outside, inside his head. It was their voice. You carry infection, you protect corruption, you will be clean. Zedelia smiled. You are welcome to try. The door trembled, then opened, not broken. Open. They walked in, 3 beings of pure control. No faces, only lines where expressions once livid. They stepped into the circle. The moment their feet touched the edge, it began and paused, looked around. The light changed, not golden, but shifting colors, moving like thoughts. Then the whispers began. A child's voice crying for a Mothra, a man screaming for help, a girl laughing under the stars. Hunters turned, but found no exit. He saw their old lives before the erasure, before the Contralone. Saw his own hands holding a baby. Another saw a smile he had once given Samianethi, froze not by force, by memoryless. Stood in the center watching, did not speak. He did not move. Let them feel, and they did. Don't drop to its knees. Its body shook, its hands gripped its head. The light around it cracked. The second tried to run, but the circle held him, not with walls, with memory. Screamed without sound. Third stood still, then looked at Elias and spoke. Why are you doing this? Oh, you remember who you were, who chose to forget. No, you were made to forget. Now you can choose to remember. Third stepped back. The mark on his head flickered. His voice changed, not cold, not empty. We're afraid of Painwall or Ethan. What do we do now? You stop hunting and start healing. 3 stood in silence. No command came from above, no signal, only thought. And for the first time, they had their own. They turned and walked away. It erased, not defeated, just changed. Virian stepped beside Elias. You did it again. No, we did. The circle faded. The light returned to normal. Trap was gone, because it was no longer need. What happens now? No. We send a message. Ado Hudo. Anyone still hiding, anyone still afraid to feel, tell them it is not over. It is only beginning. Virian smiled. Then let us begin. The message had been sent, not through words, not through signals, but through memory. Trap worked. The hunters left without taking Virian, but the fight was not over, not even close. Above the earth, inside the black of space, another ship had received the signal. Not the usual hunters, something older, something colder. A decision-making force, a commander. It watched the report, felt nothing, spoke nothing, then gave a silent order. Send her replacement. Send the cleaner back. In the bunker, Elias and Virian sat near the old monitor. They had restored power, they had cleared the damage, but their hearts were still heavy. You stopped them once, we might not stop the next. Virian turned toward him. You carry fear now. No, I carry reason. Virian stood slowly. Her skin shimmered, not glowing, not fading, just Alavesh looked different now, more human in shape, more alien in presence. I can feel it. Another is coming, but this one is not like the others. It does not erase, it consumes. Celia's leaned forward. Consumes what? Emotion, memory, identity. Virian looked down at her hands. If it finds me, I do not just disappear, I become part of it. We cannot let that happen. She looked at him. There is one way, one chance, but it is not easy. Tell me, must unlock everything inside me, not just memory, not just feeling, but love itself. You already feel love, A's, but I have never released. Itelia's looked confused, or kind evolved to contain emotion, not show it, not speak it, not use it, but when we do, if we do, it changes everything. What happens? If you release ith and I become what they fear the most, and what is that a being born from love? Elias stepped closer. Is that dangerous? Only to those who want silence. Looked into her eyes. Then do it, whatever it takes, do it. Virene nodded. But I will need you. I cannot do this, Alan. What do I need to do? Feel everything. He took her hands, closed his eyes, thought of his mother, her voice at bedtime, her arms after storms. He thought of his sister, her laughter in the garden, her dreams that never came true. Thought of the pain of losing them, of surviving Alanathan. He thought of Virene, how she looked at him, how she never begged, only asked. With honesty his heart opened, and light moved from him to her. Virene gasped. Her body rose off the ground. Slow, weightless, her skin turned pure white, her hair floated like flame. Without fire she was Chang'e, not becoming someone else, becoming more of who she truly was. Celia stepped back. He watched Ed opened, her eyes now glowing like the stars he once studied from afar. He can feel everything, every love story, every broken promise, every tear, and every smile. It is all inside me. New sound filled the air. Low, heavy, Ronth bunker shook. Thus fell from the ceiling. Cleaner had arrived outside. The sky cracked open, not with fire, but with silence. The ship did not land. It swallowed light. Its body had no shape, only moving, black like oil, like thought. It hovered above the earth, then sent a beam toward the bunker inside. Virene did not move. She stepped toward the door and placed her hand on it. It glowed gold, then clear, then vanished. The wall opened, revealing the sky and the clean air, a mass of moving nothing, a presence without form. It spoke without sound. You are infection, you are error, you will be correct. Ted. Virene floated forward. Elias reached out. No, let mesh rose into the sky toward the black cloud. Elias watched, his heart beating louder than the wind. Virene stopped midair. Her hands opened, her eyes closet. Then she spoke, not with words, but with feeling. Showed the cleaner a child's hug, a lover's whisper, a last goodbye at a hospital bed, a soldier crying along. Each memory cut into the cloud. Each emotion broke its silence. The cleaner shook. It expanded, then shrank, then screamed without voice. It tried to touch her, but her love burned it. Love not soft, not sweet, but fierce, unbreakable. It was not a song, it was a shield, a blade, a fire. And the cleaner began to fall, not to the ground, into itself. It collapsed like a black star, losing all shape, then vanished. Gnevine floated back to the ground. Slow, gentle. Elias ran to her, caught her before she fell. Her body was warm, her breathing slow. She looked at him. No, you know, love is not weakness, it is the strongest thing we have. He held her closed, silent, not out of fear, out of a weathy sky cleared, and for the first time earth had pushed back, not with war, but with feeling, and won. The desert sky was clear, the wind had stopped, the clouds had moved far away. Elias sat beside the open door of the bunker. He looked up at the stars, each one quiet, each one steady. The battle was over, but he did not feel relief, not yet. Behind him Virene rested on a metal bed, her body still, her breath soft. She had given everything, her memory, her strength, her love. Elias had seen her face when she came back from the sky. There was peace in her eyes, but also pain. He stood slowly, walked back inside. The lights were dim now, the energy low, but the warmth remained. Virene opened her eyes as he entered. You are still, her smiled. Where else would I best? Tried to sit up, her body trembled. Elias moved fast, helped her sit. You need rest. No, I need to tell you something. She looked at him, her eyes were no longer glowing, but they held something deeper, truth. When I released the love inside me, I did not expect to survive. None of my kind ever has. Once it is released, the body cannot hold it, but I survived because of you. Elias sat beside her. You brought me here, you protected me, you believed me, even when you had no reason. And I felt something I never expected to feel, not just emotion, not just love. I felt home. Elias took her hand. You have it now. Here with mesh. Looked down, then back at him. But I am not human, I never will be. Shook his head. That does not matter. I have seen what is inside you, and I have never seen anything more human than that. Virene closed her eyes for a moment. When I first arrived, I wanted to hide. Now I want to stay. Elias leaned closer. Then stay with mesh. Looked at him, her face soft, her voice quiet. Will they come again? I do not know. Will they erase minute while I breathe? Of Virene smiled, the first full smile, not half, not unsure, but full. Then I will stay outside the bunker. The sun began to rise, light touched the hills, the earth warm. Virene stood, her legs stronger. Nosh walked to the entrance. Elias followed. They stood together, looking at the morning. This world is loud, she said, full of sound, full of feeling. Elias nodded. It is not perfect, but it is real. She turned to him. Then let us live here, not hide. Livy, and what if others come? What if more like me arrive, not to harm, but to feel thin we help them just like I helped you. Irene stepped outside. Her bare feet touched the sand. She looked at the sky. So much space. So much silence out there, but here I can finally hear myself. Elias picked up a small stone, held it in his hand. Past the battles, the bunker, all of it felt far behind. No looked at her. We will need shelter, food, a way to stay off the Radarsh. Turned toward Hyman. Maybe a Gardena. Gardenia's a place where life grows, where love can be seen, not just felt. Elias Smoletti never thought I would plant a garden with someone from another planet, and I never thought I would love someone from this one. He stood in silence for a moment. No words, just breath, just presenseth, and something shifted, not in the sky, not in the earthen. Virinch held her chest. Would as Edie feel something noonwise? It is not memory, not pain, not love, something. Maresh placed his hand where her heart would bite, was beating strong, steady. Me kind never had this. We survived by mind, not by heart, but now I have Oni, and it is Alavelias held her hand tighter. Than you are not just staying here. You are becoming something new, not dead, not alien, not human, just Relthi. Walked together away from the bunker toward the hills. Virine looked at the trees in the distance. What is that sound? Birds. It is beautiful. Ice. They reached a small clearing, dry, empty. Virine knelt, touched the ground. This will Dodo. For what? For the garden. Elias knelt beside her. We will plant it together. Yesh. Sun rose higher. The day began at a day of war, not a day of fear, a day of becoming something more, something whole, something true and far above them. Among the stars a different kind of signal traveled, not a call for war, not a call for silence, but a whisper, soft, clear, unstoppable. Of has survived, and it has begun to grow.